Good morning, traders. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Tuesday morning? So we got a low volatility print starting out the day. We're setting right at $15 on the VIX. Yesterday we had a little spike up on the VIX as it opened up around 1573, and then we seen it sell off for the majority of the day. The S&P 500 did absolutely nothing at all yesterday, and neither did a lot of the markets, as we were sideways pretty much all morning. It wasn't until late morning that Bitcoin ultimately failed to break down and then started to rally a little bit going into yesterday evening. And then, of course, it topped out at the 618 retracement of August's range, as we're currently trading under the August midpoint. You can see right down here is the red midpoint. That's going to be July. It is very, very important that the bulls hold on to the 786 of the August range. Otherwise, you're going to be threatening a breakdown below the midpoint of July's range, thus looking a lot weaker on the monthly chart. This is a crucial area for Bitcoin to hold as support. We discussed this in depth yesterday for the members only live stream. We're going to talk about it today. If you are a major investor, long-term investor, and you have a lot of money on the sidelines, are you willing to invest that money into an asset that has, in a sense, given back all of its monthly gains when there's 2 weeks left to go on the month? Well, that is currently what has happened to Bitcoin. If we stretch this chart out and let you see the entire range of August, which is right here, you can see how at the beginning of the month you had your open, you ran down and set multiple lows. So at the beginning of the August, we were trending lower. That is when Bitcoin found support at the 618 retracement of July's range, went up, set in a higher low, and then for the rest of the time, it was making higher highs and higher lows. We go up, we set the all-time high and get an instant reversal. This reversal came after making the all-time highs, and Michael Saylor made a tweet that he tweeted once prior to this year in January, that volatility is a gift to the faithful. When he tweeted that, we lost 30% on Bitcoin back here. Well, he just tweeted that again after we made fresh all-time highs. So is he signaling something? That's what everybody's wondering. Does he know something we do not? The answer to that is no. He doesn't know something that we do not. We could clearly see that Bitcoin rejected at all-time highs. It has also lost two major trend lines. Right now, if you look at Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, it is weak. It's bearish. I'm not saying that it's bearish on the year or bearish on the month. Well, it is bearish on the month. Actually, as long as you're under August's open, you're a red monthly candle. So it needs to get back above this stuff today. It needs to. It's so important that it breaks back out to the upside, or other people are going to take profits, and that could cause a lot more selling pressure. Now, as far as alts go, we're going to be keeping an eye on Penguin, Bonk, Farcoin, Ethereum, like all of the major players. The highest monthly gainer so far for the month of August is going to be ENA. It's given a lot of it back, as you can see, and then CRO also giving a lot of it back, but still up nicely in the month of August. Well, at least up nicely. See, when you lose that midpoint, it starts to look really bad, especially when you lose the previous month's high. It looks really bad as you're no longer breaking out. Up here, you're breaking out and buyers are euphoric. Under here, sellers say, well, this looks like a failure. Now, that doesn't mean that it'll stay under all month, but as of right now, things are looking a little bit weak out there. As far as the Japanese yen is concerned, which is a risk-off metric, it is going down today. Right now, you can see it is putting in lows, fresh lower lows, lower highs. We're also seeing the VIX do the same thing. So is this what we can expect today? Are the markets going to be risk on today? We have a very important news headline, which it's going to be a speech from Powell on Friday. He's in Jackson Hole this week. Jackson Hole is a monetary policy conference in a sense. So not really seeing anything come out of that yet, as of yet, but it could cause a little bit of volatility as the week goes on. But right now, Bitcoin, like I said, it's on the 4 hour, it's weak, right? Here's my concern about looking for a short down here. It broke down last week. Sunday gave you a down move, and you've gone nowhere since. So yesterday, absolutely sideways. We're still trading in the same exact place as we were yesterday. So it doesn't look like the sellers have the juice yet to push this lower. As far as on the weekly range goes, what are we looking at? We got the weekly volume weighted average price coming in at the August open. Today is only Tuesday, so the week just got started. But as of right now, the sellers are in control. If we break out and close a 4 hour candle above this green line, then at least we can say it on the near term, the buyers might be back. I'm not going to get back to being extremely bullish in the month of August until we get back above 118,218. However, 116,728 could be a very nice place to look for a potential short, or if we get back above this, maybe hold off and wait and see if we can start building in support above the midpoint of August's range. But we knew coming into this month that historically and statistically, Augusts are bad months for Bitcoin, as well as September, as we've closed a lot more red months. And the red, we've lost, basically Bitcoin sucks in August and September. All right. It's the summertime. Volatilities are low. Sellers can't really get any downside continuation. However, since we made the all-time high, the sellers have been in control. There's no doubt about it. You're making lower highs and lower lows, but we just got to wonder, are we in that area, that crucial area where Bitcoin actually holds support and then rips, right? So I don't love shorting into support, and we're definitely into support. All right, so just be careful out there if you're looking for shorts. As far as the watch list is concerned, the majority of the watch list is red. Pepe's barely up. Farcoin's up 2.5%. Hype's up 1.8%. Ethereum is just barely red. It's down 0.1%. Bonk down 0.3%. Penguin is the big runner today. It's up 3.5%. So this is the one that I like right now, just because it's the one that's up the most. It's as simple as that, right? So we're going to keep our eyes on it. If we look at the 30-minute chart, you can see that you have already, on Penguin at least, broken back above the 100 exponential on the 30-minute chart. We like to watch this because it lets us know whenever there is a potential change on the near-term trend. And as you can see, you are potentially changing right now. Sellers unable to break down below August's or July's, August VWAP up here, July's down here. I don't know why that's still on the chart, but it's last week's low. It's last week's low. If we lose this area, same thing with Bitcoin. Right there is that July midpoint. It is so crucial for the bulls to hold above that. You lose that, then it starts to look more and more like the uptrend is over, right? That'll cause more selling pressure. But right now, the 30-minute 100 EMA is holding as support. So I think going into today, as long as we're trading above this point, I will be looking for long scalps. I hate to look for long scalps when everything is bearish, when everything has a bearish structure. I mean, it is what it is. It's at one of those points where it doesn't matter what you choose to do. You could be wrong, right? We look at the moving average structure here on Pingu. You are obviously bearish. Same goes for Bitcoin on the 4 hour. You are obviously bearish. All of your moving averages are basically restructuring right now. Your 50 is right now trying to break under the 100. The next thing for it to break under would be the 200. That would give you a death cross on the 4 hour chart. You don't have that yet, and you're not going to get that not this week, probably. Even if unless Bitcoin gets going really bad to the downside. Like, I don't see that happening though. Not with this low of a VIX, not with the yen pushing lower. I think we'll see a little bit of strength today. That's how I'm going to position it for it anyway, right? Barcoin up 2%, Pingu up 3%, 3.8%. If you're looking for shorts, if you want to follow the trend, which trend following strategies work really good when a market is trending, then obviously you're going to be looking for shorts, and you're going to be looking around the last 4-hour candles high. As if you break back under that or fail to get any kind of momentum above that, it could suggest lower prices. You have a weekly open right above you on Pingu at 0.032861. It's going to be your weekly open. So as long as you're under this, you're red on the week. So this is like pretty much the line in the sand, if you will, for sellers. As long as price is staying above this, then they're going to be looking for that downside break. Unfortunately, I can't really get super bullish on it either until it gets back above August's open and like holds support. So it's kind of like the only trade to make today on Pingu would be a short, as if you were following the trend. It's that simple. So maybe we'll take a short on this and then try to long something else. Kind of hedge off that risk a little bit till the market gets going. If today is anything like yesterday was, then it's going to be a very boring, very choppy, very sideways day. So get ready, get your coffee, get your everything together. Market's getting ready to open here in a minute. The bell is on its way. Thank you, my love. Got it. Sound good. Thank you. All right. So yeah, not in any position right now. I was in a Pingu short, but this spike right here stopped me out. I'm going to throw on a very tiny position right here, right now on it. We just opened the 30-minute candle lower. So does look like it's trying to hold support here. If you go even smaller into your 5-minute chart, your structure's bullish here. So you would be looking to buy the very near term, right? The very near term is like long. Whenever the sellers can't break down at key crucial levels like this, you have to assume that the sellers are a little bit scared. Not necessarily scared, just they're like me, right? I don't want to short into support. So you get that selling pressure that backs off, and that gives the longs opportunities to push price higher. Once price starts to move higher, or if it starts to move higher, then the sellers will come back. Maybe they're waiting to see what happens at the yearly opening range up there. Maybe they want to see what happens at the weekly open. We don't really know, right? It's not on us to know. All that's on us is to manage our risk, manage our expectations. As long as we do that, we make money. So as you can see right now, it's trying to push up and make a fresh day high. You did not get that. So while we're trading under that swing high, that's that 4-hour swing high, I do want to be short. We got 3 minutes left on this candle. So you can either wait for the close or throw on a short position now with a stop above the high of day. I mean, I'm going to leave it up to you how you position and how you manage your risk. I'm going to give it a minute or two. But going into today, I do not have any positions open. Right up here is the trading platform that I'll be trading on. It is Weeks. There's a link in the description if you want to trade on Weeks. You'll save 20% on all fees. But yeah, this is where I take my trades. I'm trading the futures that are settled in USDT. So when I win, I make USDT. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a bearish reaction here. So that's kind of good. We're not going to chase it. We're going to allow the next candle to open and push up a little bit, as you're still structured bullish on the very near term. Here is your dominance chart. It's been trading sideways. It did break down from this 4-hour support that we were watching last week. It put in a bull trap right there and then broke down. But as you can see, it's been trading sideways. Now, this is typically bearish, right? Whenever you're grinding at the lows, it's typically a bearish signal more than it is a bullish signal. Doesn't mean it can't break out to the upside from here. I'm just saying, when you see something like this, you typically want to stick with the trend. But it is trying to repair itself here. And if it does, then obviously alts are probably going to experience a little bit of weakness. If it breaks back down, then we'll be looking for alts to break back to the upside. As far as your total 2 and total 3 charts go, they still look okay on the 4-hour. I don't like it when they grind and lose moving averages like this because, well, I mean, you broke back under your all-time high or your 2025 highs. So it does look like a rejection. It's not a heavy rejection, but the volatility is low right now. So you don't expect big, strong moves when volatility, or big, weak moves when volatility is low. Thing we have to figure out is volatility bouncing right now? It is right now. Oh, and gold is failing to break down. We are in that short. It has been trying to break down since last week and has been unable to do so. If this doesn't break down really, really soon, I'm going to get out of that short position. All right, I'm going to try to take a small short here while we're getting a slight bounce back up on Pingu. Let me go back into the 5-minute, or here we'll go into the 1 minute. We're trading back up into this. I'm going to take the scalp. Hive day is going to be the stop. Oop. We want to see it hold under the moving averages. We don't want to see it get back going above the moving averages. Now for Pingu, the weekly VWAP is right here, so it could find support here. What we want to see is we want to see a bearish push away from the moving average structure. Kind of let us know whether or not the bears have control of it or have regained control over it, because clearly they didn't have control over it through here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Slothbag. Good morning, Bravo. Good morning, Janet. How's everybody doing this morning? We're going to try to make some money today. Yesterday wasn't a very good day for making money because the markets were so sideways all morning. Ultimately, once it failed to break down, we got into like 11-ish, 12 o'clock, we were kind of expecting Bitcoin to break back to the upside, and it did. But I was not positioned for that. So what we'll do is if it starts to trade back to the upside with steam, with a lot of momentum, then we'll have to bail. But right in here is where we want to see the sellers hold it. Since the bell just opened, you get this a lot of times where you'll see like a false move to the downside or a fake move to the upside. We have to just give it time, see what it wants to do here. The yen is pushing to the upside, and so is the VIX. Just, they're not like breaking out or anything. They're just, it's a simple retracement of the last 30-minute range. See, like, even if you look at this on a 30-minute, you did breach these lows here, but this is the area that is potential support right now. So it'll be crucial for the bears to hold this 1 minute structure that they've got. Everything is still pretty ugly on the watch list. And some of those that were green have went back into red territory. Right here is the watch list. You can see just a couple of these. Even Fartcoin was up 3%. Now it's giving back 1.5%. Stop is high of day. Short stop is high of day. This is pretty much the high of day. Your high of day is over here. Oh wait, no. It is right here. So you didn't liquidate the high of day. In a sense, you got a double top on the day as the high is 32,543. And then that's going to be 496. 543, 496. So there's a double top on the daily range. That could end up becoming a bullish target if the bulls recapture support. I mean, the bulls are firmly in control of today's range. You're at daily highs. You're up on the day. Day open is right there. Here's last week's low. So for an asset to trend, we need it to hold those lows and push, right? Otherwise, it's not trending. It's back inside the range. It's returning to the mean. It doesn't signify a weak asset. But that's what we're shooting for, at least. I hate shorting at support, but I don't like buying weak assets either. Not when the 4-hour structure says you got to be short. Japanese yen has made a fresh 30-minute high. It's actually a fresh hour high. The DXY was weak on the day, but it is now bouncing. So that might help gold break down if the dollar becomes strong again today. The VIX just went back under yesterday's low. So the S&P 500 is still very choppy from yesterday's range. We're literally trading right where we were yesterday. We were watching these exact same levels yesterday, right in here. I mean, this is where we were yesterday. This is what we did yesterday. Straight piano keys. That is sideways AF. Oh, we're still there. But this is good. This looks like the bulls are regaining control on the S&P 500. If they get this, then the shorts on alts might not work so good. We'll have to see what happens with Bitcoin and dominance. And then as you can see, there's that gold trade that just absolutely refuses to break down. We closed the Amazon trade yesterday. We were up really nice, and we're still holding the gold short and the IWM long. And SPX is pretty much trading right now inside yesterday's range. So Tuesday's trade still unchanged on the week. Oh, Tesla looked really good yesterday. It looked like it did a support test and hold. So Tesla is going to be something to keep on watch here, as yesterday it was a nice move up, and as you can see, it reclaimed that 100. So that would be a support check. That would be a buying opportunity. It was looking like we were waiting for it to test the 100 yesterday and never even got down there. So this actually looks like a very good bounce off of support. So as long as the midpoint of yesterday stays intact, I have a bullish bias on Tesla. If you're trading under the midpoint of yesterday's range, then you got to be a little bit more careful, as you could be threatening yesterday's lows. But right now, structure on Tesla looks good. It looks like it's getting ready to rip. Only time will tell. Coming into the weekly volume weighted average price, I expect price to wiggle here for sure. All right, so NQ just broke down. You've got Apple had a nice little spike at the open. It's kind of, where I can't really tell if it's trading under the VWAP yet. Tesla's back under the VWAP. Microsoft put in fresh daily lows, and Nvidia is having a massive down day. So that could potentially help our shorts. Look at Nvidia go. Boom. That's a big down candle right there, baby. Yeah. So that's going to put pressure on the NQ and the ES. If anybody's new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. But these four charts are the NQ and ES. Up top, ES daily, NQ daily. ES intraday, NQ intraday. Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. This is Nvidia's day. Gold futures, Bitcoin futures, and then here's your ADD. Your advanced decline line, it's more bullish than bearish. Go into the market watch here and look at the advanced decline on the S&P 100. You have 69 advancing stocks, 33 declining. That is more bullish than bearish. If tech struggles, then it could cause the S&P to be weak, even if the rest of the market is strong. But it's still very, very early in the session. So VIX is bouncing back above yesterday's low. If the IWM fails to break out to the upside today, I will probably close that trade. So right in here will be the 2% mark. That's generally when we want to take profits. If we get down there, we'll start shedding some profits. because this 4-hour chart still looks like it wants to go. You failed to break down through here yesterday. And then look at this big boy right here. This candle could just be a retracement into this candle's range. If it holds support here, we're probably wrong. So we need to see it break down. It needs to get going. There's kind of an old supply zone right here. That's about midpoint, right? It's not the exact midpoint, but so it needs to get going through there. If a lot of time goes on and we're still not breaking down, I will change more than likely how I feel about this. That's what yesterday couldn't give us. Like yesterday, it stayed literally inside this candle's range. But right here's when we were live. This candle really didn't do anything. It spent a lot of time out down here at 4-hour support yesterday. It just literally could not break down. When you see that, you have to be a little bit more cautious, because when the sellers are in control of a market, you see that. You get big downside moves, not small sideways moves. It's when the buyers are in control, you get the small sideways crap. When the sellers are hitting it, you get those big moves. So the fact that it can't get down through here tells me that there is someone down here soaking up sellers' orders, clearly. There's a reason why it can't break down. That's why I say don't short into support. I mean, there's clear support right there. Like, we can't even get there yet. So we need to get down here just to see if we can break down through this. If it holds this, though, there's no point in even seeing if it's going to break down. Like I said, I expect it to wiggle here because of that. Also this, the midpoint. ES is bouncing off the lows. NQ still pushing on the lows. Apple just broke out to the upside and is trading above its intraday VWAP. Microsoft is easing up off the lows, and Nvidia is easing up off the daily lows. Nvidia is trading the daily lows put you right at the monthly volume weighted average price. So support. Buster G says, good morning. Can you have a look at NIO stock? Looks like it formed a W bottom, then a bull flag on the daily. Yeah. NIO is an Asian electric car manufacturer. It's back down to under $5, which means it's, money managers can't hold this in their portfolio as long as it's under $5. That's why you're seeing $5 marks resistance. So I wouldn't even be interested in NIO until it broke back above $5. It's like for long-term holds. As far as the very near term, like you said, the last few weeks, yeah, it's been strong. You had a nice little break to the upside. Your structure looks okay on the 4-hour. You're into resistance. So yeah, it needs to break out above that. The $5 mark is the big level. Because anything remember, that's a law in the US. Money managers are not allowed to hold retirement funds in assets under $5. That's why anything under $5 is considered a penny stock or over the counter, OTC. So it needs to break back above that and sustain support above it before buyers will start to get back interested in it. Now, with that being said, obviously something happened down here. I would say the short sellers just gave it a break. This looks more like a profit-taking rally than anything else. If there's news on it, if there's a reason why it got bullish, then maybe you'll see an upside continuation move. There is a measured move that you could look at, but I mean, it's the consolidation is taking quite a bit of time. But if it breaks back to the upside, you could see potentially $6. That would be like max for the measured move. Going back over to Pingu because it's holding support. We're still okay, but it definitely needs to roll over here. Or we're going to eat a stop. Let's go resistance. Resistance. Oh, I haven't even looked at the point of control today. Ooh, probably should have looked at that before I shorted it, huh? That doesn't look good. Lot of volume right there. And we can see why, right? It's the midpoint of the last 4-hour candles range. It's also the weekly volume weighted average price. Typically, those are areas to buy when the asset is strong. When it's weak, you generally want to stick with the trend. It's just sometimes on the near term like this, the trend, it's too oversold. We can look at momentum just to kind of give us an idea of what's going on. You can see how the bears lost that bearish momentum with a pretty strong move out of the area. So right here, trying to short is a little bit early. Typically, we don't want to start looking for shorts until we're retesting that 50 on the RSI, on the 4-8 or daily charts. So looking for a downside move today is just looking for a little bit of sell side continuation based on yesterday's closure. We'll see. We'll see. It's not the best position, but we'll see how it holds up here. Bitcoin bouncing off the point of control. Point of control on Bitcoin is down near here. Let me just show you. The point of control on Bitcoin is down near the low value area. So this blue line is your value area low on your session volume profile, and the red line is your point of control. That's where the most volume is traded on the day. And you can see that the most volume that's traded in the daily range has been down here. So it makes sense that it would bounce from there. The structure looks okay for a continuation move lower. So we just need to see resistance hold here. But since you've got like a lowercase b here, it doesn't always work out that way. But you can see how you got that. Well, when you have that, what we typically want to see is this complete the day's range. So it's just The question is, will the sellers be able to push it back down through that area? That will be the biggest question on the daily range. For day traders, are the sellers selling it? Right now, it looks okay. As this is your breakdown, a restructuring of the moving averages, and then a retest. So let's see if price can get back down in these areas and test that support. Tesla's breaking out to the upside. You're testing well above yesterday's high. So Tesla's breaking out. Apple also pushing up into, well, it's not the high of day, but it's the highest closing 30-minute candle, which would be near-term resistance, 230, 236 on Apple. Microsoft is well up off the low of day, and Nvidia is still pushing back up. ADD is still above 500. You're at 760. So that suggests a little bit of firmness in the overall marketplace. IWM still trading at 227. IWM is creating a near-term bull flag, but it's closing dailies above the 21 exponential. You're well above the 50 on the daily. So IWM looks good for upside continuation. Tesla's probably getting ready to rip. Look at that, baby, go. Looks really good, man. Yeah, looks really, really good. There's a large move coming on Tesla. A measured move on this puts you back up to 390. I don't know how long it takes to get up there. I don't know if it will get up there, but I'm just saying. A measured move can put you all the way back up there. Easily. So yeah, 390 by the end of the year, potentially. Be careful if you're shorting Tesla. I think you're on the wrong side of that one. Let's go, break down. Let's see it. Let's see those sellers. Remember, first take profit zone, your primary take profit's going to be around 31,400 down in this area before the daily open. Don't put your take profit right at the daily open. Set it a few ticks above it. And then make sure your stops are situated, because I'm not loving how slow this price is. Any minute, a big volume spike can come in and throw, within 5 minutes, you can be trading up here. That's nothing for Penguin to do. Bitcoin did close the 30-minute structure. Looks okay for downside continuation, but it's just a 30-minute candle, right? It's not really nothing big. You're still defending the midpoint on Bitcoin as well. So this is potential support here. Excuse me. Drew says, watching PCT this morning, building support around 1250. Is that a stock or is that a... Okay, I don't know what this is. Pure Cycle Technologies. Yeah, I mean, support is going to be down here, daily support, but we would really kind of need to see where we are longer term. You're up on the year, which is good. Yeah, you're just basically retesting June's range. So the midpoint of June's range would be the level of support that you would want to see hold. All right, so basically this is where you want support to come into play. And that's where your daily support is. So I wouldn't necessarily love being a buyer here. I mean, this thing obviously trades wacky. I don't know what's up with that, but I mean, that doesn't look good. And the fact that you rejected your 21 exponential doesn't look good. So as long as you're under the August open, you're threatening lower lows in August. But you're right, this is an area of support. 1231 is support, or it needs to hold as support. We don't know if it will in the future, but that's definitely the level that is very interesting to see if the bulls can hold. I don't know anything about the company. I don't know if they make money or what they do. I don't know if this is a Bitcoin treasury play or what. I don't know. If it is, then obviously whatever Bitcoin does, this will do as well. Be careful. Just make sure you're managing your risk. ES just broke out to the upside with a large move. So not sure if that was a news spike or not. Clearly, we're on the wrong side of the market today. Yeah, VIX is putting in fresh daily lows. Your Bitcoin dominance was so strong earlier, has rolled back over. So Pingu probably getting ready to spike here and stop everybody out. Anytime you set a double top like that on the daily, it always gives me concern. Because, I mean, why not just liquidate? You're right there. You know what I mean? You mean to tell me that this couldn't have went up just a few more ticks? Yeah, of course it could have. It's like a setup. Setting up the sellers. It's failing to break under here. That's not a good sign. The sellers just not here today. Apple's making fresh daily highs. Nvidia is retesting the intraday midpoint, or VWAP, volume weighted average price. Remember, Nvidia tested the monthly VWAP. That is support. You can see how you've not been able to close a daily candle under the VWAP since the month of August started. That's your lowest close in this month. Since then, it's just been higher closes. That's what it traded down to, and that's where it's holding support. Here's your intraday Nvidia chart. It still looks okay for downside continuation, but you're at support. So it might hold. It might not, but it might. Here's your ES spike. Boom. Apple's right there. It's threatening yesterday's high. Tesla still looks good for upside continuation. And your advanced decline line up here looks really good. The broader marketplace is bullish. It's just a few tech plays have it down. Nvidia and Microsoft both have it down. These two get bullish with Apple, this thing's going to rip. Like I said, your VIX is pushing back lower. Here's your VIX up here. There's yesterday's low. So liquidating it and then getting above it is good for bearish trades. Under it and continuation, good for bullish trades. So maybe if these things break out to the upside, that'll help our gold short break down. Maybe. We've been looking for that to happen for a long time, and it hasn't. The longer it takes to break down, the less I like it. You could probably, I don't know, I would hate to tell you to be a buyer on this freaking thing simply because it's so weak on the 4 hour, but I mean, that's a sell. It's a sell all day long. It's weak. So, I mean, I don't really expect any big, massive bullish moves because there's just so much overhead resistance. Your week open, your year open, your month open, not to mention your 21, your 200, your 50, 100. There's your month VWAP. There's so much overhead resistance. I don't expect it to just break through all that. So if you bought it, you would just be buying it for the simple fact that maybe the sell side is exhausted here. And maybe it wants to retest the yearly opening range. Maybe. But for trend following setups, you can't be a buyer. I'll let you use your judgment, but it doesn't look like the sellers are here. Not today. They were not here yesterday either. They could not get downside follow through yesterday either. And that tells you a lot. I mean, here's yesterday. Buyers couldn't get anything going, but neither could the sellers. So far for today, because there's your open, that's your 2000 hours, that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They made a fresh low of day, which took out yesterday's low, and then right back into yesterday's range it went. And then the buyers, even through London, have pushed it higher. So the New York Open right here is a retest of support. So you could see this candle end up closing up here. Well, I'll let it be your decision. As long as you're above the VWAP, the weekly VWAP, then the sellers are not in control. I was hoping they would reclaim control. And they might. I mean, that's the thing about trading. We don't know what it's going to do ever. All we can do is manage the amount of money we lose when we're wrong. That is it. That's all we can do. That's all we ever can do. But yeah. Was there a news break? Let me check the news bot. What time did that break happen? So it doesn't look like it was a specific time. At 10 o'clock, there is usually news drops at 10. So what did we get today at 10? Really nothing. Oh, here's the news bot. Not really seeing anything at 10 o'clock either. I mean, they always come out with a market review because 10 o'clock. But here's the only news that's come out right here. Fed Bowman says that she has not changed her views via Bloomberg. And then DHS says NOAM is announcing designation of new Chinese industry sectors as high priority for enforcement under Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. And then AFP, Putin proposed to Trump to meet with Zelensky in Moscow. That's good news. Maybe they can get something going there and get that war handled. Stop killing those young boys, man. Let them live. What the? War is stupid. So stupid. Get out of there, Putin. What's the matter with you? But yeah, maybe that's what gave the markets a little bit of juice to the upside. Why my comments getting deleted? Nobody's deleting your comments, Adam. I'm the only person that in here right now that has the power to do that, and I haven't deleted anybody's comments. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. But Riot. Yeah, we can look at Riot. So because Bitcoin isn't really doing anything, I wouldn't expect these to do much. But now, since there's all these ETFs, there's 4 bond-like products that are backed in Bitcoin that MicroStrategy offers. So there's 14 right there, just with 10 ETFs, the 4 MicroStrategy products. Now you've got all these new companies claiming to be Bitcoin treasury companies. There are so many on-ramps to participate in Bitcoin volatility. I don't see Riot and Mara being those massive movers anymore. Now, with that being said, that is just my opinion. I could absolutely be wrong on that in the future. But as you can see, Bitcoin has made multiple fresh yearly highs this year, and Riot has not. It's only made one fresh yearly high. The Riot isn't really participating like it used to with Bitcoin volatility. You can see that simply by looking at what it did back in 2020, right? Bitcoin making fresh all-time highs, this did too. This thing hasn't done anything since July 2023. So Bitcoin's been trending up since July of 2023. Riot has not been. Riot has been in a very long-term channel. Now, you could make the argument that that is more bullish than bearish, for sure, because it's failing to break down. But at the same time, it's not breaking out either. So this would be something that I would, if I was going to trade Riot on a normal basis, I would be selling puts and calls on this. Right? I would be selling puts and calls. I would be using this as a generating machine. Like, just generate revenue. Not necessarily looking for a big breakout. Just generating monthly income. But other than that, with that being said, I mean, you look good on the daily. Today you look good. Yesterday you looked great. You got back above the 21. Today looks okay as long as it can close above it. Looks like it's trying to hold support there. If it does hold support, then maybe it goes back towards $14. But I would not be looking at this. I mean, if it does break out, then it could rip, right? Because clearly there's a lot of short interest in this. Let's go check the short interest. If the short interest is high, then yeah, I do like it. But it has to be up there. Otherwise, let's go see. It does have a big short float. It's got a 21% short float. It's not massive, but it is big. So yeah, I mean, maybe sell puts under $11 if you're okay with owning it. Just keep selling, 2 week out, 30 days out. Just keep selling those $11 strike puts. And then when you get filled, maybe then you'll get lucky and it'll break out. The moving average structure is good for upside continuation. But when you're in a long-term range like this, your moving averages do not help. You are in a long-term range. It is piano keys. These are monthly candles. The last 4 months have been good, but one could argue and say, well, yeah, that was the bottom of the range. $7. Now you're coming into the top edge of the range. Monthly res, $18.51. So you're basically in the middle of the range. What range are you in? Well, I mean, you're in 2022's range. So to be really considered a breakout, this thing needs to get above 24.66 or under $3, and that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, as long as it looks like this, the structure is, your moving averages are trying to fan out. That is typically good. Trend following systems would have people buying Riot right now. But like I said, it is in a range, very long term. You know what I mean? A breakout would be a big move. Potentially, but you got to go a lot higher just to break out. So just keep watching dailies, and as long as you're not closing dailies back under the 21 EMA, then maybe you can be long, you can hold the long, see what happens. Make sure your risk is mitigated. All right, back over to Pingu real quick because it is trying to break down. Very thin liquidity in this. Take profits going to be down here. Is when you're range bound like this, you don't want to expect big moves. You can get positioned for a big move, and if it happens, then yay. But you don't expect that. Don't ever expect it. Make sure your profit taking area is right in here, around 31,350. As that would be a 2% move. And that's all we're looking for, 2%. Then we take profits, move our stop, and then if we get downside continuation, yay. It's icing on the cake. Yep. Let's look at render. Yeah, it's breaking down this morning. This one's actually showing you downside continuation. So this last 4-hour candle right here did break down below support, and the high of that candle is still intact, meaning you haven't traded back above it. So in theory, it's not a bear trap yet. Your structure is starting to come around here. You've been in a range for a long time, a couple weeks. Yeah, I mean, piano keys, you're just range bound. You're trading inside this weekly range. That is support. So it needs to break down below that. The fact that you're trading under last week's low is good. That doesn't mean that you're going to see downside continuation, but it is good. All right. It needs to break down below $3.35. So you can say you actually have continuation here. I love the structure. I love it lower. I mean, I like it lower as long as you're closing weeklies under the 21, guys. The asset is weak. And if you ultimately do get a breakdown candle like this, especially since you've been range bound for so many weeks, you could see a larger move down to 278. But there still is support right there. And it will be support until you break through it. The daily structure looks good also. This would be a sell for me. Would be a sell. I would be looking to sell daily highs. For those intraday scalps. What's up, King Money? I see no strength on the market today. Are there any potentials for short scalps on ETH? Well, probably not right this second. You're under today's midpoint, so the daily range is already situated. There probably would have been earlier, but not right now. Right now, you're into potential demand. It's last week's open. It's also a daily demand zone. So people are going to be buying that. Ethereum's still super bullish. You're not even closing dailies under the 21 yet. You just lost the 21 on the 4-hour last week, but you haven't been able to get anything going to the downside yet. But it looks good. It looks like it's trying to break down. Yeah, I mean, the trade would have been the same trade that we've got on right now, right? Short the last 4-hour candle's high. As long as you're under that, you can be short. That would have been the perfect short entry right there, or just wait for it to get back under and then sell it and use that to mark your high. You know what I'm saying? This is the same trade we took on Pingu. The exact same setup. Same setup. Same trade. We just haven't hit our take profit yet. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up at 31,350. Oh, wait. No, I won't because the position is too small. Yeah. No, I won't because the position is too small. You know what? Yeah, I will. It's just a very small position. And my entry's not that great. So we got, we're in $100 right now. That's not great. It's not terrible. I've done better. We booked over $500 yesterday. We made almost, it was like 685, I think it was. I finished the day up 685 yesterday. So, I mean, adding another $100 to that wouldn't be bad. But if I take profits at that price, I'm only going to be able to take half. So basically, it just makes it a break-even trade. So since the position size is so small, since the range is so small, I'll probably just leave it alone because I'm already up significantly for the week to see if today ends up being a breakdown day. I got a lot of breathing room on the week, so to speak. So I'm doing better than I did last week at this time, for sure. Last week, the money didn't show up until late in the week. This week, we hit the ground running. So yeah, I mean, that would have been the trade to take on Ethereum. The same trade that we took on Pingu. So, okay, so you guys need to take profits right now. And move your stops to break even and give yourselves a big pat on the back as you successfully navigated the market today. It can be done. Can be done. Give everybody a round of applause. I don't have a hot button, so or an applause button. Maybe I need to build one. A couple sound effects, a boo for when I'm wrong and an applause for when we're right. Yeah, Nvidia's pushing back down to daily lows. Microsoft fresh daily lows. And Apple is rejecting the highs, but it's still up nicely. Apple is still up $1.79 on the day. Yeah, need a soundboard. Yep, I do. I got pretty much everything else to be a YouTuber. I might as well buy a soundboard, huh? I don't even think you need to buy one of those things. You could just simply pull up sound effects. Would be easy to do. So yeah, there you go. You're breaking down. That looks good. Clearly it can find support at the day open. I wouldn't be a buyer now for sure. Under that midpoint, I don't like it higher. Now that doesn't mean that it won't find support down here and go up the rest of the day. That's why I'm telling you to take profits now and then move your stops to break even. That way, if it does bounce out of here again, you will have navigated the market the right way. You will have mitigated your risk properly. But yeah, nice. Finally, those sellers showed up, huh? NQ making fresh lows today. Right now. Gold refusing to break down, and probably will refuse to break down if the markets stay bearish. Well, the markets aren't bearish. I mean, you're still trading at the high of day on IWM. We're just simply testing the day open on Pingu. Yeah, good stuff. Lifestyle Media says, yee, so glad I use weeks when spot trades drag. Yeah. MAV is positive on the day. Do you think it's shortable? MAV. Let's go look at it. Is this? Okay. It's a stock and a crypto. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm going to say maybe crypto because it's up on the day. Like you said, is it still shortable? Probably not. Probably not. Because what you're going to end up doing here is you're going to end up taking a short at the, like, round the lows. The short would have been needed to have been taken earlier. Like when we did before the breakdown. You want to try to position yourself to catch the breakdown, to catch this move, right? Not after it's already happened. Because what happens if it bounces now and revisits the high of day? You're literally going to short the freaking low. It's not the low of day, but it's right when everybody else bought. So now that's not saying that it won't see downside continuation either. Obviously, I don't know what it will do. This one was actually, like, I wouldn't have suggested shorting this one. Not when it was up in here. No. This one has a lot different structure. You see how the moving averages are under each other? Your 21's on top, then the 50, then the 100, then the 200. That suggests bullishness. It does look like that trend is winding down, as that is a head and shoulders formation. So head and shoulders usually do mark tops. Not always, but so the trend is trying to change. It's just very volatile. So it's like not an easy trade to take, but if the rest of the market breaks down, then clearly this will probably end up breaking down too. I don't know how long term this move will be, if it even will be long term. But I mean, yeah, the short was much earlier. You could have shorted it when we did, which was in this area, or you could have shorted the retest here. But even then, you know, that makes your positioning not really good, as just a small spike can throw price right back above your entry. But if these things start breaking down today, then yeah, I could see a larger move coming out of it. simply because it struggled so hard yesterday to break down. Yesterday and Sunday, like, you can see that support. So if it breaks down through that, you could see a larger trending move. Our job as day traders is to catch this right there. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing more. We're not trying to anticipate what price will do. We're just trying to position ourselves to catch it if it does do that. But yeah, it's a weird one, that MAV. Dominance. Instantly finding resistance. So be careful. Make sure you take profits when you get the moves, guys. Please don't be greedy and expect more. Me doing that is literally the not correct way to do this. Like, I'm already up on the week, so don't worry about what I'm doing. You take profits and do it fast because it can bounce from here. All of this stuff can turn around here. You're not trending on the day yet. Yes, it does look like the sellers have showed up, but this move right here could have just been a liquidation move. We don't know that it's going to break down. S&P's is still above the VWAP. NQ is down, but S&P still structured good. So S&P is still above the VWAP. S&P's a doji on the day, but you could see just how easily, if it was to get bullish momentum, you'd be making fresh all-time highs. Now NQ, because it's more tech heavy than ES is tech heavy too, but the NQ is just more tech heavy. You can see why it's actually breaking down and giving you continuation as you're trading outside of yesterday's range. So that's trend continuation. But you could see support right here. Not much further and you'll be into an area of support. So Apple's still up on the day and still up on the daily highs. You got to get down in here before you'd be threatening the daily open and lows. You're still in the top half of the day range. Microsoft on the lows and Nvidia on the lows. You're at an 1108 on the advanced decline line. That's not bearish. That's bullish. The only reason these things aren't ripping to the upside is because of these trades right here. Microsoft and Nvidia. What's Amazon doing today? Amazon's down too, so I'm glad I closed that trade out yesterday up here instead of down there. Now, with that being said, I still like it to the upside as long as it holds 222. And then IWM looks okay still. So this is your broader market, the small caps. They're still okay. If these things break down, then you're probably going to see a larger move on the S&P to the downside. So this is basically what's keeping the S&P from having a big down day. So we almost took out the low of the previous 4-hour candle on Pingu. Almost. So I can take profits now. Let me set my take profit down at 30866. Add another $100 to the weekly gains. Going to be a 60% return, and we want to take half of that. All right, take profit is set. Looking okay. Entry was terrible, but I missed the real entry. The real entry would have been here, but it just moved away from that so fast. I had to wait for a bounce just so I could get in it. But that's what I did. So if it comes down here, it'll take me out, and I'll add about $80 to the weekly P&L. Put me over almost $700. A little over 700. Doing good on the week. And then I'll leave the rest on for any downside continuation that may or may not occur. All right. But yeah, IWM looks okay. XAU starting to push. This is what I want to see. I need to see it break down, man. Gold has been so choppy and disgusting. Man, it's been just chopping people up lately. So that must mean the dollar is moving up. It is. And NQ's tearing off to the downside there. I was actually looking for Euro USD to find support here, but it is breaking down. The Euro USD is breaking down. We were looking for support to hold up here, and it didn't. Very choppy. Very choppy. That was a very nice last week open test and a very nice reaction off of last week's open. That's why I was looking for upside continuation. It could still find support down in here, but we'll see what it does when it gets to 4-hour support. If the rest of the markets stay bearish, it's probably going to roll over. There's your S&P failing to stay and close above that 21. Resistance, 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 resistance. It could still break, though, to the upside. This is a trap candle for now. But if you close a 4-hour under this swing, then it will be a failed trap. So I'm not bearish on this yet. Whenever you hold support just under that average like that, you're threatening a big move up. Now, this isn't done yet. If it does this, then we'll call it donezo. And I did get filled on my take profit, so add another $90 to the weekly gain. Now we're good. So now if Pingu bounces, doesn't matter. We paid ourselves for taking the risk. We're good. Our job is done for the day. Nice. That's what I like. One and done. Wham, bam. MicroStrategy, if you don't mind. Yeah, let's go look at MicroStrategy. For any of you, oh, yeah, that's not looking great. Ooh, yeah. Breaking down here, not looking great. This is not range bound. You're breaking down out of the range. This ain't looking good, guys. This was your range right here. So when you set in May's high and low, we were in a 4-month range. You are breaking down right now. This thing is in the process of taking off to the downside. Don't try to buy this when you have a lot of bearish momentum like that. You could get hurt. If it reverses from down here and gets back inside of May's range and then holds support, you can be a buyer looking for a reversion to the mean back in the range. But as long as you're breaking down like this is a fresh breakdown. You could see a really big move today, lower. Be careful trying to buy MSTR. If you guys didn't know, there are bond-like products that strategy offers now that pay a yield. And those 4 products are right here: STRK, STRF, STRD, and STRC. All 4 of those are strategy bond-like products. They're basically, he built these things to tap into a $1 trillion liquidity pool. So anybody that's buying bonds right now that are backed by the US dollar, they only get like a 4.8 to 5% yield by holding that position. What he's done here is he's offering up products for people to chase duration and generate a yield. And that yield is like 7 to 10%. So it's a more, I don't know if I would call it more attractive product. But if people were looking for a bond-like product that is surrounded, that has Bitcoin as its center focus, then those are the 4 assets you would be keeping on watch. They do generate a yield. Each one of them has a different duration. Each one is designed to go after a different amount of time. All right. So you have to do your own research and find out what's best for you if you wanted to participate in something like that. But yeah, not looking good. It's probably going to hurt Mara and Riot as well. I mean, Mara's getting a big push now, breaking back down. Yeah, you're under the 21s on Mara. Mara looks more bearish than bullish to me. On the near term, it is also in a long-term range. You did break down out of that range right here, but you could not get downside continuation. Right back up into the range it went. So, at least on the near term, you are making lower highs and lower lows on Mara. Riot will more than likely do the same thing today if Bitcoin remains weak all day. This is a very crucial area that Bitcoin needs to hold, and it is currently losing it. If it loses this, it's going to have broader sell side implications because you're back under July's midpoint. Not great. Not great. It's not terrible yet, but it isn't great. Could this be a bear trap? Yeah, I guess, but I mean, damn. That is a rejection. Sailor tweeted that. Volatility is a gift to the faithful. Look when he tweeted that. He tweeted that on this day. If we go look at the Bitcoin ETF inflows on the same day, that was August the 14th. You can see you had a massive amount of inflows. So people were buying the ETF that day. And it still ended up being a down day. So last time he tweeted that was here on this day. Volatility is a gift to the faithful, and boom. So, yeah, I mean, it's starting to look like the dude is signaling something. What's more important here is you're losing both your bullish trend lines. You've got the trend line coming from the April lows. Held support through here. Now you're losing it. And then the trend line coming from the previous highs that were set late last year and early this year. You lost it, reclaimed it, lost it again. I'm not looking for a gigantic breakdown here, and I'm not saying that the markets are going to be bearish now. I'm just saying the markets are right now pricing in something a little bit different. So just be careful if you're trying to buy these downside moves. On the S&P 500, if we come out here and look at the Shiller Cape ratio, this indicator was built by Robert Shiller. It forecasts future returns. All right. Back in 2021, at the end of 2021, we printed a 38.58 Shiller Cape ratio, and then we saw the bear market happen. We got up in here again in 2024, and we saw a pullback. Now we're at 38.59, so we're above that. Now, as far as long term goes, clearly you're not at the highs. Back in 2000, when we had that big massive move on the markets, the big bubble, dot-com bubble, this thing got all the way up to like 44 or something. I'm trying to just barely move the mouse. 44 or something. 44.2. I mean, it can keep going up, but it is extended to the upside. And then if we just look at daily exchange volumes, I know you can't see the end over there, so I'll pull it up for you, but this is what you're working with. Heavier volumes coming in and Bitcoin's rolling over. That's not what we want to see. We want to see Bitcoin's price breaking out to the upside on heavier volume, not breaking down on heavier volume. So we'll see what ends up happening here, but not loving it. Not loving that reaction at all. At all. And if you take into account that your meme tokens gave back all of last month's range at the end of the month or the second half of the month, that's not good. Like Fartcoin gave back all of July's gains at the end of July. We are bearish on the month right now. We ended up bearish on the month last month. That's what I said. When these things are running to the upside, that means the broader market, the whole marketplace is super bullish because these things have no real value. They're meme tokens. So when they're going up and trending to the upside, that's a good sign. When they give it all back, not a good sign. The alt season could be done. Not saying that it is, I'm saying it could be. So be careful. Same goes for Bonk and Pingu. Like, we wanted to see it hold the July range. It didn't. It's lost it. The midpoint of July. You're down on the month. So things not looking great out there in crypto world. Now, obviously, Bonk's trading into the 200 daily, so it could find support here. And Pingu's got a long ways to go. So Pingu's right now trying to defend July's midpoint. Sorry the chart is sloppy, but it is what it is. What are we bouncing off of right here? The daily open, last week's low. Could we be at the end of the lows today? Yeah, maybe. As you are reversing here on dominance. So they might not be done just yet. But I didn't want to see all these alts, these meme tokens lose it. Now, with that being said, your Ethereums and those alts got strong for the month of August. So maybe people just rotated capital out of the meme tokens into the better alts, the alts that have a use case, your exchange alts, your Ethereums, your Solana, your Hype, which Hype ain't doing so good. Hype is back under the midpoint of the monthly range. No, it's right at it. So Hype needs to hold this. Hype actually looks good. That looks like a breakdown rejection. So maybe that's what Bitcoin's doing today. Maybe Bitcoin's putting in a bear trap here. So the best thing to do today, at the end of the day, would be to simply wait for Bitcoin to open a new daily candle. For us in the United States, that happens at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So at 8 p.m., you're going to have your eyes glued to this chart. And what you're going to watch, first thing you're going to want to see is where did this day close? And was it close to the lows? If the answer is yes, then wait for the new candle to open, wait for a liquidation below, and then see if it gets back above and see if it holds back above. If it does, then you could get long, throw a stop under that day's low in anticipation of a return to the mean. It just depends on what happens for the rest of the day. If Bitcoin ends up being down like 4 to 5 or 6% today, then I would not be expecting this to be a trap. But if it only get if this is it, like if that's the extent of the down move, then sure, yeah, that could definitely be a trap. So keep that in mind going into the end of the day's session. The stream shouldn't be choppy as I am not dropping any frames. Our internet is doing good. I will check it just to make sure, but yeah, I mean, we got 250 on the download speed, so shouldn't be choppy. And we're looking at 10 on the upload. 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 19. So yeah, I mean, these speeds right here are good enough to hold a very good stream. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it is just you, Mr. Yusuf. Maybe refresh. Oh, you already got it. Sorry. Running like television for me. Awesome. Historically, post-halving years have shown positive August and negative September for Bitcoin. Do you think it can play out again? Yeah, I mean, I don't buy into the whole, I mean, obviously, well, here, let me see if I can find that. Wait. All right, so I mean, just because historically these months are bad, it doesn't mean that it will be this month or next month. Like, it just, so yeah, what you're saying could absolutely happen. Now you're pairing that with halvings. I don't know where my halving chart is and the 4-year cycle charts are. Let me see, maybe here, and then we could give it a look. Doesn't look like it's here. Not here. Man, don't do this. All right, there we go. So the halving was 2020 in May and 20, or for 2020. And then we can just go to the 2020 cycle here and look in May. And then you're right. So for 2020, at least, August was up just barely. Just barely. And then the previous cycle, 2016 in August. So you actually got the halving in August that year. And that year you were negative. So far it's 1-to-1. Right? 1-to-1. 2012 would be the next one. And there is no 2012. But the year after it was positive. So I mean, yeah, maybe this year is different. Maybe it is up. I think it's just going to, I think what's really hurting the bullish markets right now is your Fed Watch tool has went from being like 94% of a rate cut down to 83. And the reason for that is the hot CPI numbers we got last week. That's putting a little bit, it's not just the CPI numbers, it's also the bond yields. Like if you look at bond yields, the 30-year yields, you are trending higher. The market wants to see the yields roll over and trend down. They don't want to see these things trending up. Let me go back over here. They don't want to see them trending up, especially the near term, but definitely the later term also. Like your 20-year, your 10-year, 30-year, all of them have been trending higher. So this is what's putting the pressure on the markets right now. Basically, they're saying, well, if the market's pricing in a higher yield, then the Fed isn't going to be able to cut. Right? Because the Fed follows the 2-year. Pretty much. So if you look at the 2-year yield, it isn't trending up yet. So at least for the near term, the yields are still good for Fed rate cuts. They don't follow this exactly. It's not a 1-for-1. Not a 1-for-1. But if you turn this to a line chart, look at it with the monthly, and then compare that with the Fed fund rate, you will see that they are very close to each other. Very close to each other. So if the 2-year yield continues to push lower, that would be good news for rate cuts. That's why there's still an 80% chance that they cut in September. Is based on this. But the long-term yields has got the market on edge right now. This long-term yield, this 30-year, that's what people are concerned with. They want this to roll over and, yeah. They want it to roll over with them, and then they'll feel a lot more comfortable about the yields and stuff like that. It's just, we got one more CPI coming, I think, before we get a Fed rate decision. I know for a fact we're going to have another non-farm payroll before the Fed rate cut decision. So as long as those numbers tighten up, or not tighten up, but actually loosen up would be the correct term for that. As long as those numbers are still good, it's not the main CPI number, it's a month over month core. That number is what spooked the market. Here, I'll show you. We go back to last Tuesday. $8.30 right here. It was this number right here. That 3.1% on core inflation rate. That's the one that concerned the market because this has a heavy weighting inside the broader inflation number. So if this continues to tick up, and they expected it to tick up 0.1% up to 3%, it actually ticked up to 3.1. So it came in hotter than the market expected. That's what's got the market spooked a little bit right now. That one number. But that one number is big because that one number can pick up the whole inflation number. So yeah, it is what it is, right? We're still overall in a bullish market environment. So Bitcoin can pull back 5, even 10% off the highs and still be in a bullish market environment. So nobody's expecting a bear market, not this year. Right? Not this year. And if you look at the S&P 500 also, a 10% correction would give you 2 gap fills. 2 of them. So I'm not expecting a 10% correction. I'm just saying if we got a 10% correction with the current macro situation that we have right now, I would be a buyer down there. A buyer. I don't think you're going to get a 10% correction, but who am I? I am nobody. I'm a price action analyst. I'm not a macro analyst. But I think as long as everything stays the way it is right now, as long as the yen struggles to break out to the upside, as long as the VIX struggles to break out to the upside, I think the overall risk markets will be just fine. So that's why we're watching the yen. Right? That's why we're keeping our eye on the yen, regardless if anybody else is. We are. Because we know that if that yen starts to get going to the upside strong, that'll have broader risk-off implications. And secondly, the USD JPY, if that unwind happens, that could also have serious negative implications across the board on the risk markets. James Stanley done a fantastic job of outlining that. That's also why we're short the USD JPY, because if that happens, that would be one of the best shorts to be in. It would literally be an insane move to the downside, because everybody's watching 140 on this 140. This is the defense zone right there. That's also pretty much a head and shoulders neckline, right? It's a larger potential topping formation here, but that yield, that unwind, this was all based on the carry trade. The USD JPY carry trade, because the USD interest rate ran up to 4.55% and the Japanese yen went negative. So you had almost a 5-point interest rate differential there. So in a sense, you could borrow yen for free and then make money on that 5% spread. Not only that, you could have taken the money you borrowed and buy Nvidia, buy Netflix, buy risk. That's max leverage. So this is a crucial level right here. If this starts to unwind and then causes a breakdown, that will have negative market implications. Very, very bad. Now, I'm not expecting that to happen, guys. I'm not expecting this to happen. But if it does, then being short right here will be a phenomenal trade. Because you can see a massive pullback on this. So that's why we were looking at it. We mostly positioned in this for USD weakness, not yen strength. So that's kind of my bad on that. I should have looked for USD weakness in something else, because as long as we do have rate cuts, then that would suggest weaker dollar. And Donald Trump wants a weaker dollar. But if he isn't careful, he can get a weaker dollar, but what he needs to not see is a stronger yen. Weak dollar, okay. Strong yen, no bueno. You get a strong yen, that could be disastrous for the US markets. And unfortunately, what no one else sees here is on the year, the yen is up. It's up on the year. There's your year trend on the yen. So if you end up getting something like this, you could see it really take off. I'm not expecting that. That's way outside of what I think will happen, but I'm just saying it's there and it could. And if it does, we're going to be positioned perfectly for it. It would probably be one of the biggest trades of my life if it works out that way. And I'm not expecting it to. But I'm positioned right here. If it wants to go up, I have a decent position on it. That's all I care about. Get a decent position and then see what happens. That's all any of us can do, right? I literally bought it right here. So if it stays up in here, it's going to be a little bit more and more scary each day. I'm assuming there's a lot of big eyes on this asset. And they do not want to see it start to trend back to the upside. That's for sure. That would have very bad implications. Now, as far as the Japanese yen being a risk-off asset, it hasn't really been as of late. Like, people really haven't. You haven't seen Twitter and YouTube all talking about the yen anymore. But I promise you, if the yen gets up in here, that's all you'll see on Twitter and YouTube. The Japanese yen, the Japanese yen, the Japanese yen. Yeah. But at that point, it will be too late. It'll be too late for them. But not us. We'll be right there laughing and enjoying it. Unfortunately, that would suck for the rest of the people out there that have retirement plans and stuff like that. So clearly, that is not what I want to happen. I don't care. I want to position myself to make money on all of these assets. So I like it better when the markets are bullish. It just makes it easier for everybody to get money. When the markets just go up, it's just so much easier. When you're choppy and sideways like this, it makes it a little bit more difficult. But longer term, Bitcoin, the longer term trend still looks okay. But it starts to look a little bit worse each day it spends under July's midpoint. We're in post-halving year right now. Yep, we are. We had a halving last year. Last year we had the halving. But like I basically it's 1 for 1. There's 2 green months and one of those months not really green. Remember, it was just barely up. Being up 2% on the month, not a great month. It's almost unchanged. It's a doji. You know what I'm saying? It's just a doji. So it's basically still the same. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, you're down on the month. There's your August open. Your August open comes in at 115, 756, spot 12. As long as you're under that, why do I have two of them? As long as you're under that, you are down on the month. You are down on the month. So that will be a very important objective level to watch going on. Here's the thing that's got us a little bit concerned. So usually a lot of traders will take vacations at the beginning of the month of August. Like, I don't know, go to the Hamptons or whatever. But they start coming back to the office the second half of August. So we will start to see more and more volumes pick up as the year goes on now, more than likely. Because those traders are coming back to the office. And we knew that coming into this week. We discussed that on Sunday in the live stream. We literally was saying that now these next 2 weeks for Bitcoin will be vitally important because it's the last half of August. And as of right now, threatening the August open, not good. We wanted to see this hold support up here. We wanted to see it break back out above the midpoint of August up here. This week has started and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's looking like what we were discussing in the weekly this Sunday's live stream is taking place right now. Your weekly range is expanding to the downside, and it's only Tuesday, guys. This weekly range is almost as big as last week's range, and it's just Tuesday. So those buyers need to step up. They need to step up. And they might do it. This could be putting in the weekly low right now, today. We don't know yet. We won't know yet until we move on later and later into the week. IWM has turned from bullish to bearish today. So I'm probably just going to close that out. If you're in the IWM trade with me, here's how I'm going to play it today. If we close under the 2022 yearly high today, so if you get close to the close today and you're trading under this price, you might want to close out that trade. Because this would have been a short squeeze here. And I wanted to see that short squeeze continue, and it didn't. So I don't know why, but it failed. It is still failing to go up. It's still sideways, and this level really don't mean much as far as could we still see the short squeeze. We absolutely could. But I would love to see this thing hold support here at this daily close. I don't want to see a lower close than that. I don't remember exactly where we entered, but I'm pretty sure we entered close to the low. I thought we entered before the trade took place. What's going on here? Why do I have 3 alerts? Can you look at XLY? C. Martin, are you in the stream? I didn't get the alerts. I have 2 alerts. Yeah, I don't know if those guys are even in the stream. I don't understand what's going on, but I know nobody wants to hear anything about bearishness, but I mean, if you're You got to protect yourselves. You can't just expect things to always work out. You got to position yourselves for that. Instead of being on the sidelines or watching your portfolio get drained if a bearish market does happen. We don't expect a bearish market to happen. The chances of having another bear market in 2025 are so low. Like 5 to 6%. Like that, you would definitely want to bet against that, not with it happening, against it happening. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we got long down in here. I don't know. It's not giving me the entry. 275. Trade price 460. That's what we paid for the trade. That doesn't tell me when or where we entered it. But yeah, just keep an eye on it. If it loses this support, then there's a potential that it's coming back down here. And then you're just going to give back a lot of your profits, is all I'm saying. So you can always re-enter at another support if it ultimately does find support. You got to take profits while you have them. So that's why, like, if we're closing down in here today, I'm probably getting out. More than likely, I'll get out. Pingu's back to up on the day. This thing just, for whatever reason, cannot break down. Be very, very careful. Make sure you've already mitigated your risk going forward. You should have already taken profits. You should already have your stop moved. You should be good to go on this trade. You should not lose money on this trade. We made money on this. You should make money on it as well. But it is not a bearish engulfing 4 hour yet. Like, this thing, that dominance chart is failing to break back out to the upside there. This trend line this trend line will change. It's not a trend line that matters because if you just turn on log, it's completely different. So I don't even know why I have that trend line there. The major thing that I'm looking at is right in here. This was the support. So that's where we were looking for resistance. And that's where we got resistance. And we did get breakdown, but we're not continuing down. So if it breaks down and continues to go down, then the alt season might not be over yet. So your Ethereums, your Hype, your Solanas, your things like that could potentially find support. This is still just corrective in nature. It's not a bear market. We're not looking for these things to be completely done yet. Fartcoin, I would say, even isn't like completely done yet. All Fartcoin did was gave back the July and August gain, or the July gains. You just gave them all back. Still doesn't mean it's done. Because right here is when it started. This is what happened when alt season started. You're still not done. It just doesn't look good. Still not done. Not dunzos. Not yet. Looks droopy though. It looks droopy. Ethereum still looks fantastic. Ethereum has all the way down to 4073. That'll be your August midpoint. July's midpoint is down here. So Ethereum still looks fabulous. Right there. That's your July low. That's your July high. Oop. Shit. Here, let me just redraw that. July low, July high. So if you're just looking at the last 2 months, your July midpoint's all the way down here. See, Ethereum gave back all of this. Not Ethereum, but Fartcoin. It gave it all back. That's the difference. This is still trending up. You're still above July's high. You're still above August's midpoint. You're just now testing the August VWAP on Ethereum. So the structure on Ethereum is much different than that of Fartcoin, Bonk, and Pingu. But these things could be finding support. It doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad either. I can still be a buyer on Ethereum as low as $4,073. But that's where I'd want to see defense come in. Ethereum still looks good. What do we look like on XRP? XRP still looks okay. XRP needs to hold right here. So for XRP, it's looking a little bit weaker. This has to come over here to Monday. XRP is looking a little bit weaker on the near term, but longer term, it's still okay. This is why you bounced down here, because of what it is. Boom. Now the bounce was smaller and it's a lower high. You don't have to worry about XRP unless you take out the lows down there, because then you're going to have lower highs and lower lows, and you'll be well under July's midpoint. So XRP is pretty much right where it needs to hold. XRP could technically be a buy as long as you're trading above this price, 29420. Now, it doesn't look great, but look at your intraday here. Look at what you've done. So, this will be the intraday support and the lowest I want to see it go. If it goes under this price, I no longer like it as a buy. The momentum is still too strong to the downside. But if it can hold above this price, in theory, you could still be long XRP. Get your headphone, baby. Nice. All right. Read that. I meant post having not having ears. Yeah, I understand what you're meaning. I do. I got you. I'm there with you, buddy. I got you. Whoa, Tesla rally got hit by sellers. Yeah, it was looking really good at the beginning of the day, and it did get pummeled. Boom. Yeah. That always sucks. Right now, Tesla is a failed breakout on the pattern, not on the range. All right. Pattern traders are looking for Tesla to break out of this triangle. Pattern traders are. Your wave Elliott wave guys, your pattern guys, they're looking at a symmetrical triangle here, and they're looking for it to break out to the upside. But your price action guys know that you still haven't done anything. You're still in the middle of the range. You're in a 5-month range on Tesla. Here's your range right here. May's candle. So until you break down below May's low or above May's high, you're in a 4-month range. Sorry, I said 5. I meant 4. Right there. You're inside of this range. Rectangle. So you still haven't really done anything. I don't care about the pattern. I only have the pattern here for the people that listen to me and do like patterns. I don't have a problem with them. But as far as my analysis goes, it's not a breakout yet. It just broke out above this, but that did fail. It also failed to break down here. So you're still range bound on Tesla. You're still range bound. You haven't done anything yet. We were wanting to see what it does when it gets down to the 21. We want to see, hey, does it make a bear trap there? So like what we're going to be looking for, like my channel members, the ones that listen to me on Sunday, they know what we're looking for here on Tesla. What we're watching for is we want to see this thing close down in here, right? Test this. What does it do around this? Does it close under it? And then what happens the next day? We gap up on the next day and push, then this will be a buying opportunity for us, as it will have set a trap to the downside. That might be what it's looking for to give it that to the upside, that oomph, if you will. Get everybody good and trapped offside and then go. Right? Similar to what it did here. Like this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So here's your 21, you broke out above it, then you closed back under it, so now all the bears jump on it. It's going down, but it gaps up and then boom, 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 boom. So are we going to do the same thing, or do we gap down and go back towards the bottom side? There is a big move coming on Tesla, either up or down, but it has to break outside of the maze high or the maze low. That's what it needs to break out of before you can say you have continuation. As of right now, you're tightening up inside of a bigger range. It's a massive range. A lot of points in there. Oh, damn it. A lot of points. You can still be scalping the hell out of Tesla right now. There are a lot of points to make inside of Tesla. But for the trending move, we kind of need to see what it does. Does it hold support? And then we can look to buy it. We thought it was going today. That was wrong. You still could have made money theoretically on a long trade today on Tesla early this morning if you bought this retest. That was a $6 move to the upside. So you could have made money on it. But if you didn't take profits and you sat in it, yeah. This is because of low volatility. When you have low volatility, expect sideways markets. Expect it. Just expect them. Because that's what we seem to get. Dominance just had a big push lower. So Ethereum, why is Dominance doing this? Something is making this thing move. Going forward, as long as you're closing 30-minute candles under 31,911, there's still a potential short here. I do not like this reaction down here on Pingu. Dominance is weak. And it's not Ethereum that's doing it. Not yet. That is a bullish engulfing on the 30-minute, but still. Something is happening. We could technically buy this if it comes back down in here, and then we can just risk the low of day. So if we could get an entry at 295 on XRP, We could risk the low of day and only lose like 0.5% if we're wrong. Because something's up. This shouldn't be breaking down. It should be breaking back to the upside with all that weakness, all that red out there. Pingu's back up 2% on the day. There has to be a reason for that. C. Martin, if you're in the live stream, XLY. WANT. I don't know. I've never traded this. It's a 3X XLY. So it's a 3-time levered on consumer discretionary. I mean, it's breaking out today, but you've given it back. As long as you're trading above the 21, you know, I like it up. I like it higher. It's bearish on the year, but still, it's trying to get it back. It's clawing it back, which is what you want to see for bullishness. Looks great. I mean, August, you're up. Right now, you're above July's high. Looks okay if it can hold it. But there's your August open. So as long as you're above that, I like it higher. Just look at it as objectively as possible. Maybe if you start losing like the 4-hour 21 exponential, then chill out. You know what I mean? Because a bigger downside move could be coming. But as long as you're staying above that, it's bullish. It's bullish on the near term. 4670 is where you want to see support hold. And it has been holding for a couple days there. So yeah. This has very thin liquidity. That's a 5-minute chart and it's just sideways ticks. There's not many people trading this. Maybe it's options that they're trading more. Nah, I doubt that. No, there's not much open interest on the option chain either. Yeah, this is a very thin liquidity asset. Very thin. Don't take massive positions in this. You could get eat up or get stuck. Yeah, I mean, I can see. It looks okay. It looks okay. Here's the thing though, you're probably finding resistance right around the 786 of the yearly range expansion. Nope, it's all the way up there. So it's the 618. Okay, if you reject this and get back under the July's high, I don't love it so much. I don't think I would take the short, but yeah, just be careful trading something like this. Very thin. But the XLY isn't a big mover, so I can understand why people would want to trade the 3X ETF. So right here is like, I mean, if this holds as resistance, then maybe this was just a bigger near-term spike. But as long as dominance is doing stuff like this, you got to be careful. But Bitcoin's trying to test support. Oh man, wouldn't that be something for today's downside move to be a trap? The markets are bullish. But typically you do want to be buying these pullbacks, not shorting. What's a decent position size for you? It depends on the asset. It depends on the asset. I don't know. There's very little liquidity in that. There's not any options. There's not much open interest on the options. And they're just ticks on the 5-minute chart. It's not heavily traded. We can check exactly how much option or exactly how much volume has been traded on it today. As far as options, there's only been 1,400 option contracts traded on one. And as far as volumes go, there you go. 315 shares were traded in the first hour. Only 3 shares have been traded now. Very thin. That can't be right. That can't be shares. You mean to tell me there's only been less than 400 shares traded in this asset today? Yeah, I don't trade things like this, period. A 1,000 shares of that, you might be stuck with it. But yeah, my position sizing determines the asset because I only risk a certain percentage of my account's value. And that differs because obviously my account sizes are different. Like on weeks, I only hold up to $15,000 on exchange, but I'm never trading $15,000. I'm only ever trading like about $2,000. Because I go up to like 20x leverage. I don't need to be trading $15,000 position sizes. Some of the alts that I'm trading on weeks, they won't even allow you to get in a position size that big. Because you can affect the movement of the asset. When it comes to futures, now if you're buying spot, that's different. But yeah, it varies. It varies on the asset and which account I'm trading on. I have 2 Forex accounts. I have an Oanda and a Forex.com account. I have a Weeks for crypto futures. I have a Coinbase account. And then for stocks, I have Charles Schwab and I have a Tasty. So it just depends on what I'm trading and the account size. 1% is generally what I'm looking to lose on any given trade. If it's crypto, I'll lose up to 2%, but sometimes trading view alerts don't work. Yeah, I get that too. I do. Last alert was triggered for me on Litecoin crossing 119, so yeah, sometimes they don't work. Let's see how long it takes for it to work. Let's set. You gotta be very specific on how you set the alert to. I try to keep it just when price trades there, whether it's going above or going lower. Well, it alerted me. But yeah, sometimes I don't get the alerts too. Sometimes I don't get them too. Fart looks like an 8-hour bear trap. You got 17 minutes left on the candle. Fartcoin just looks very choppy to me. You can clearly see where resistance is. It's the yearly opening range. Like it's been unable to close 8-hour candles back above that price. So until you do that, that's resistance. Doesn't look like a bear trap to me. That's a low close, that's a lower close, and even lower still. So you've gotten two bearish engulfings. This was a bearish engulfing to that, and this is a bearish engulfing to this. 16 minutes left on the close. As long as it closes under the open, it's a legit bearish engulfing. But has it found support? For that, we got to go down lower. Probably not the hourly. Right here, 30 minutes. That's your support. You've not closed the 30-minute candle under that price yet. So you can say support is objectively holding for now. If you close a 30-minute candle under that price, then you will have broken support and made a new potential support moving forward in time. But yeah, as of right now, support is holding on Farcoin. Yep. That's intraday support. There's probably a larger time frame level there. I don't see it there. It's daily support. It's not the 30-minute. It's daily support. There you go. So until you close a daily under there, this is objectively support. But now that the 30-minute candles have put in an intraday support there as well, that is support until you're trading below it and making lower lows and lower highs under there. I don't like getting long when you have that much momentum coming into a level. This is the first full 30-minute candle that's traded under it and then closed back above it. I would want to see that hold on another one or two attempts. If it holds again, then you could potentially buy Farcoin and put a stop under the low of day. Just risk 1% on that trade. Everything is red except Pingu. Everything else is red. So you're trying to call a reversal when the market looks like that. That's your dominance chart, so it has to be up. Pingu's the only one that's up. Everything else is red. Farcoin was up 4% today at one point. Almost 4%, like 3.8%. Now it's down 2%. So it's definitely weaker than it is strong. But yep, that is support for now. That's why I said on something like XRP, we could potentially look to see if we're right. Right now would be the time to put on a small entry. But it's the same fact. You had a lot of momentum coming into that level. So a couple hours of time will go by. If you're still grinding this level out, there's a higher chance that it's going to break that support. I think it's going to be very, like, whatever happens to Bitcoin today will probably determine what happens to the rest of the markets. You're basically trying to build in a near-term support on Apple and on the ES. And in a low VIX environment, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Bitcoin finds support here and then grinds back up for the rest of the day. Absolutely. When you have low volatility, you don't get real big moves. You get small moves. So yeah, that's why I said only look to get about 2% out of your trade. So in a sense, you're risking 1% to try to make 2%. That's how you're structuring your trades. So right now you would be putting on a long, well, not as long as price is trading under support because there's a threat that it's going to break, but you got 11 minutes left on this close. You can either wait for the close or buy it now and then put your stop down 1%. So your stop would be right here on XRP, $2.91. Your take profit would be up here at $2.99, 2%. Risk 1% to make 2%. Right? And the only reason I said that is because dominance broke down here, but look what it's doing now. So now it looks like, If it was going to continue to roll over, I would want to be probably getting long XRP, Ethereum, or like one of those. But it doesn't look like support's trying to hold any longer. Ethereum's down 2.7%. Farcoin was up 4% almost. Now it's down 2.7%. Farcoin can move 5 to 10% in a day. So Farcoin could move down another 2%, 3% lower. So keep that in mind. The day isn't over yet. And the VIX is a bullish candle right now. Gold is breaking down, finally. Oh my gosh, that was the longest trade I ever been in my life. How many days have we had that trade open? GLD's been open 18 days. 18 days. I don't think we can call that a short scalp anymore. After 18 days, it's pretty much a swing trade. It is breaking down finally. Shoo! Damn this thing. Been grinding these lows since last week. Yeah, the dollar is back to up. So that's what I said. If the dollar could get going back to the upside, then that could help our gold short. Our take profit on gold is on GLD is 303. We still have 122 days on that position. But it shouldn't take long now to get to 303. Now that it's actually breaking down. The last thing that was holding that up was the 200 exponential. So yeah, it does look good. Now we just got to see if this is going to be a trap or not. I don't think it is, because it's been grinding it out for so many days. This might be a legit breakdown. We might see some continuation off of this. And I would love for that to happen. I would love to be able to close this trade out up today. The structure of that trade was a spread, and it's right here. So we bought the 309 put and we sold the 303 put. So 303 is our downside target. Once we get down there, we're pretty much at max profit. You can get a little bit more if price continues to go down, but it's not going to be a lot. It'll just be a little bit. But yeah, it's still not doing great. We paid $275 for the trade. So if we can make $100 out of it, that'd be good. Good enough for me. It is what it is. It's a slow mover. When you put on a spread, it was to make sure that we didn't lose a lot while it was grinding against us up here, because while it was up here we were losing. We put the trade on in this candle right here. This candle was opening at resistance, which was July's open, so we put the short on here. We sat in it while it was against us all the way up to there. So if it breaks down through here, we'll take our money off. And then we'll look for a pullback, and we'll look for a larger move down to May's low. There's a bigger move in this as well. It's doing the same thing that Tesla is. You're trading inside of May's range here. So what we're looking for on GLD is a larger term move. Then we'll look for a pullback, and we'll look to put on more risk and target May's low. Okay, so there, once we take this trade off, I'll let you know when we're putting on a new one. There's still some support down here, clearly. It's July's low. So we don't know that it's going to break down. I'm just saying if it does, there's a larger move out of that. It's a measured move. The measured move puts us down to May's low. And that's what we're looking for. But it could take a long time to play out, as we've been in it for 18 days. Yeah, sometimes that happens, but it's looking like it's getting ready to give us that move now. So we could see just like 3 days of solid downside here. That would be great. That would be great. But if you're like trying to get long Euro USD, please understand that if I'm looking for gold to break down for a couple days, then I expect Euro USD will do the same thing for a couple days. It's hard for me to short it because it's bullish. You're bullish still on Euro USD. But we were looking for the dollar to go back up and test. I don't remember exactly what it was. Let me pull it up and I will look. I think it was August's open. Yeah, August's open. We were looking for it to find support down here and bounce back up into August's range. Because if you look at the monthly, you're into support. The midpoint of last month's range. You got a very long-term trend line there. All the way back to 2011. So we have a longer term bearish bias on the dollar, but not until we get rate cuts. I want to see what it does then. Because we don't know how much of this move was pricing in those rate cuts. They could have already priced in all the rate cuts for this year. We don't know. Rate cuts don't mean it'll go down. If you look at when the dollar started to go down, it was a long time after the Fed already started cutting. The dollar actually went up for 4 months. Just compare the Fed funds. The Fed funds started cutting here in August of 2024. The dollar went down 1 month and then shot to the upside for 4 months, even as the Fed was cutting. But we had a bearish bias up here. This is where we started to get bearish. We were waiting for January. Once we got January, we showed it. We shorted it up there, 109. I didn't short this asset. I bought the euro. I traded the euro. But I've been all over this thing since Q3 of last year. I've been on the right side of it. So we're looking for it to trade back up a little bit here. Back up to August open at least. The problem with that trade, because we would have to be short Euro USD, is there's a ton of support under Euro USD. You got daily support here, daily support there, not to mention your moving averages. Got the 21, the 50. If you go down intraday, you got a massive moving average cluster here. Tons of support. But guess what we can watch moving forward? 4 short entries. Boop. That's right. That's right. If we get this move right here on the Yersies, we can hammer it with a short right there. Boom. And look for it to drop. So that's the price to watch on Euro USD moving forward for short entries. You're just going against the trend. Understand that. The trend is up on the euro. So by you taking a short trade, you're in a sense saying that I think the trend is wrong. All right? Or you can just blame it on me. I'm okay with that. You can say, Trade Talk is looking for a short here. So if I fail, it's his fault. Love it. All right. Give me 1 second here. I got too much stuff going on. All right, can I check XMR? Yes. And then we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute. Because there's really nothing else for us to do. We're just waiting for our short to work out. We did just get a new 4-hour candle open. It still did not end up being a bearish engulfing though. XMR USDT. That's a premium index on Binance. That won't be right. Oh, there it is. Ooh. Oof. Yeah. That's probably it on Monero. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Monero's in the process of breaking down. Yep. I could be a seller on Monero pretty damn soon. And I would have been looking for shorts on Monero. My first place would have been right here. And then clearly I would have gotten stopped out. I would have absolutely gotten stopped out. But I can show you right where I would have entered it. Oh yeah, I would have entered right here today. That would have been my sell side entry right there. Because that's daily res. This white line is daily res. And I would have known that going into the day if I would have been trading this asset. There's your daily resistance there. This breakout just means there's a potential it's going to go higher. But then we broke back under daily res on the open. That's at the Asian Open. Boom, boom. So for London, they sold it at this 4-hour high. So as soon as price traded back under that 4-hour high, I would have hit it with a sell. And I would have put my stop right above that high, and I would still be setting in it. And it has longer term, bigger move potential. Like, I'm going to keep this on watch. Is this a big mover? 269.51. It's still up on the year though. I don't think, let me see here. Yeah, I definitely don't mind shorting it. That's not 24, dude. What are you doing? Where are we at on the weekly? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. I mean, this is... You can stop looking for shorts if you close back above the midpoint of this weekly candle this week. So if you haven't advanced this week, if all week it just advances higher, then you want to see it close up there. The midpoint of this candle, because then you're going to have a shooting star formation or a morning star. And those are typically looked at as reversals. But right now, I mean, you even took out last week's high and rejected. Like, that would have been the ultimate short side entry. That would have been the ultimate short side entry. And I mean, yeah. In theory, I could have nailed that high because it came in at 8 p.m. yesterday. You opened here, liquidated this day's high, and rejected. That would have been such an easy trade to take. Here's, to be fair, the last 3 days you've seen really good bullish momentum. And when I see stuff like that, I have to wonder why. Right? Why? Why did this get so bullish the last 3 days? Is that news related? Is there a macro reason for that? Cuba Community Monero's 51% attacker votes to target Dogecoin next. Kraken pauses Monero deposits following a 51% attack. Damn, dude. Do you understand what this is? Like, they're trying to bring Monero down. Unstoppable to launch native Monero support on August 18th. So this is probably, that's the news that got it bullish. Yeah, I would have a sell side bias on this. As long as it's trading under daily res, I would be short. If you close a day back above this white line right here, 274.16, then you got to leave it alone because there could be a macro reason, a fundamental reason why it's bullish. Because everything else has not been bullish. The last 3 days of this, that looks like a fundamental move, like a news, like something's happening to cause that. It could simply just be the shorts gave it a break, or the sellers quit selling for whatever reason, and you got a bounce. But as long as it's under daily res, I like it lower as it's rejecting last week's high. Yeah, I could potentially short this thing again if it comes back up here today. Is it a big mover is my only question. Give me 1 second. It's an okay mover. It's down 2.6%. Yeah. Yeah. I could short that if it bounces back up to there, and just to target the low of day would be a 2% gain. So it's not a super fast mover like Fartcoin or something like that, but it could be if it gets going. Did Doge get really bearish based on that 51% attacker saying he's going after Doge next? Yes, it did. It did get pretty bearish. Poor Doge. Why are people such... I don't know why people do things like that. Just want to bring the whole world down. Just want to see it burn. Whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat. Yeah, I'd be careful getting long Monero. I mean, people are clearly trying to attack it. So maybe it's just a lie and that person's short. S&P is making fresh daily lows. Yeah, I'd have a sell side bias on XMR right now. That's just me. I mean, clearly you can have a difference of opinion, but it just, to me, this doesn't make sense, this giant move here. And I don't really see much news supporting it. So as long as it's under the midpoint of the monthly range expansion, that's why I have a bearish bias. That's why I'm saying if it gets back above the daily resistance, then I don't love it to the downside. The next place that I would be potentially interested in shorting it would be up here. So if it breaks out back above this, I would exit my short position and give it time to trade up to here. Then this would be where I'd be looking to attack it next. But if it trades back up to here and fails, like, I will short it to see if it wants to give me this back. That's a larger move. New lows would be a 16% move. So I could put on a very small amount of money, like $200 on this with 20x leverage and make a lot of money if it does break down over time. But I don't know that it is going to break down. I'm just saying if it does. The structure here on the daily time frame is obviously bearish. The structure here on the weekly time frame is obviously bearish. The structure here on the monthly time frame is obviously bearish. Now, it's up on the year, but you're bearish in the month of August. And you're bearish good in the month of August. So August is a down month for Monero. Right here's your August high. There's your August low. This right here, in the context of August, would be looked at as a bearish bounce or a dead cat bounce or a short opportunity. Let's go back intraday and look at the session volume profile to see if that supports a bearish. Not really. So for me to be like super bearish on it, I would have much rather seen the point of control up here and then today's point of control up here. Then I would have a little bit more of a bearish bias. Now the trend's still good on the near term. You're holding support. So if you don't look at any other charts, if you only look at the 30-minute time frame charts and that one indicator for your analysis, you can buy it. Remember, I don't know what price will do ever. All I'm doing is managing my risk. I manage my money better than other people do. And that's why this is my full-time job. I'm not better at guessing what price will do than anybody. I'm just better at managing my losses than they are. And this, to me, is absolutely something I can short. I'm not going to risk my entire life savings on it, though. I'll throw 1% out there and see if it sticks. If it does, I'll potentially make a lot of money. But if you just look at this chart, it's still bullish. And this moving, this migration up supports higher prices. Because your point of control is moving up with price. That's generally a good sign, not a bad sign. So, yeah, I just think there's too much on the bigger time frames for this to like get any serious thing going. Now, if it pulls in a lot of shorts, and that is legit buying on a macro reason, a fundamental reason to be long this, you're going to see a big short squeeze. That's a lot of bullish momentum. Those 3 bullish days took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 days of bearishness. It's usually the other way around, right? Usually you get like 8 days of bullishness and 3 days of bearishness takes all of it out. But it's the opposite here. But this looks like a short covering rally. But if there is a macro fundamental reason to get long, then maybe stay out of the short. If you can't find that macro fundamental reason, I think the short is good. It is up on the year. It is one of the few cryptocurrencies that are up on the year. But it has lost a lot of that trend. This is your yearly low. No, it isn't. Right there is. Nope. Right there is. That's why. That's why. Right there. Your short sellers pulled back as it came into support. This is the last support. The last line in the sand for the bulls on XMR for the yearly range. So your shorts, all the shorts that attacked it up here, all those guys, they're out. They got out. They closed their shorts down here at support. And that's why you've seen a massive bounce. So this could take like a few more days to play out. We'll see. We'll see what it does. Let me put these back on going intraday here. Pingu's coming back down. Coming back. Coming back. Come on back. Give me that. Give me those lows. Fresh daily lows. You have long entry. Oh, wait a minute. I took a small position long at 42.05 of ETH. And as soon as it does not take the low of previous 30-minute clean, I will keep it. Okay. Sounds good. As long as you know what you're risking, King Money, I have no problem with people getting long at lows of day. None at all. Just as long as you know what you're risking. And as long as that risk is mitigated. Longer term, like the more experience you get in this game, you will find out later on that it's usually best to try to stay within the context of the larger trend. Those trades will just seem to work out better. Ethereum is trending up on the larger context of trend. So taking longs at swing lows is not a bad idea as long as you're not getting destroyed each time you do it. You're still up. The trend is still bullish on this. 40.19. That's a good entry. As you're not losing money till down here. Not bad. Hopefully it turns around for you and goes back to the upside. I would love to see that. Love to see it. Yeah, I saw that. A 51% attack is a DDoS attack. And then you said it's literally about the news and mining pools. Got it. Yeah, I saw that news on Monero. Yeah. I don't think a 51% attack would be bullish news, but that's just me. Obviously, the people that work for the Monero company, because it is a company, they do make money, or they're trying to make money. So they're trying to do something. Those people are going to try to defend against the DDoS attack. Hopefully they're good at their job. All right. If that's it, we're going to wrap it up, guys, as we've pretty much done all we can do. We're just going to set in the Pingu short and see what happens. I am going to watch Monero. Let me put that on here right now while I'm thinking about it. Because if it fails to go back above daily res, I'm probably going to short it. Here, I'll just put weeks up there. Where did it go? What just happened? There it is. Boom. Yeah, I'm going to keep this on watch. I'm going to watch daily res. It's a little bit spready on weeks. So let me put this one back up there. Yeah, this one looks a little bit better. Daily res is what I'm going to watch today on this. If it fails to break above it, then I'm gonna like it lower. But if it's trading above it, I'm not gonna be sitting in it because it could be wanting to go back up to here, 280, 282-ish. All right. And with that, we're gonna keep gold open as it's finally breaking down, and then IWM is the only other position that I'm currently managing with the live stream. So if that breaks down and closes under those other daily lows, then I'll probably get out of that today, just to try to keep whatever. All I have is $50. Like, that's it. That's all profit that I got left on it. I'm not going to let it turn red, so I'll close it before that trade turns back to red. It doesn't make sense because I thought we entered that much lower, but we put on a spread trade way far out in time, and that's probably what's going on there. Looks like we bought the 225 calls on IWM. And yeah, so we got long at 225. So it was already rocking and rolling when we got... No, we bought out of the money calls, I thought. I could have swore we bought it down here and just bought out of the money. I don't remember. I don't remember what we did there, but I'm pretty sure we bought out of the money calls. And we were looking for that short squeeze. We got 2 days of it, and that was it. It like quit. So the short squeeze petered out. Damn it. But anyways, if it looks like it's going to be weak for the rest of the day and the rest of the markets continue to throw out lower lows on the day, I'll probably just get out of it and look to re-enter it on another time. And that's it. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you guys trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.